Look at that, kids. Look how easy it is to get into the kingdom of God, that happy place with all the promises of milk and honey, where puppy dogs play, where you never have to take a nap, and where you never, ever have to take a bath. Baptism, boys and girls, and you belong to God for the rest of eternity. It's that easy, grown-ups. No need to make it harder for the kids. My across-the-street neighbor came over to the house right after we moved into the neighborhood a few months before she died. She asked about the boys, and we got to talking about child rearing. She said, "You know, we have the chastised chair, the great big comfy chair in the middle of the living room. We used it to punish the girls when they were bad." And she laughed. "And don't you know, now that they're in their 50s, they still refuse to sit in that chair." See, they associate that great big comfy chair with punishment, with being bad. Is that what these pews are to you? There's no need to make it that way, even if it was that way for us when we were kids. Kids, especially little boys, wiggle and squirm. And if we go to teaching them that wiggling and squirming is bad, then when they get to be grown-ups, they are sure to associate those pews with being bad. Let school teach them how to sit still, for crying out loud. Let the military break them in. Let the workplace break their spirits. In those places, success or failure is dependent on their behavior. In this place, success or failure is dependent on Christ's behavior. So don't worry about wiggle worms and ants in the pants. We should have limits, of course, but have a mind toward what they are learning. Teach them that David killed Goliath. Don't even worry about whether they understand the meaning, just that they know the story. So don't say, "And if you pray hard enough like David, then you can kill the giants in your life." First of all, that's probably not right. And second of all, it doesn't matter if they know the meaning. They need to know the stories. Teach them that David killed Goliath. Teach them that Moses parted the Red Sea. Teach them that God created the heavens and the earth. Teach them that Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. Teach them that Solomon built the temple and was the wisest man on earth. Teach them that Elijah raised the dead. Teach them that Elisha raised the dead. Teach them that Jesus raised the dead, healed the sick, gave sight to the blind. Teach them that the apostles raised the dead, healed the sick, and preached the gospel. Teach them about Eve, Sarah, Rachel, Leah, Hannah. Teach them about the Virgin Mary. Teach them about Mary Magdalene, Martha, Lydia, and Lois and Eunice. I had this teacher in college, a real short fellow with thick, wavy hair that he somehow managed to mat down. He grew an enormous handlebar mustache, I think, to make up for his height. He also affected to smoke a pipe at all times and in all places, loaded with sweet tobacco, which gave his tenor voice a mellow, thick sound. It was very soothing. He told us that when teaching children, to know Jesus is to know God. How do you get to know God? Through Jesus. How do you get to know Jesus? Through all those stories about him and through all those stories which surround him, beginning at the very beginning and ending at the very end. How would you rather get to know God? It's baptism, friends. Young and old, tall and short, thick and thin, it's baptism. Let the little children come unto me, and do not hinder them, for of such is the kingdom of God. Do you know the stories? Then you know God, and you know that God is a God who created you, who saved you, and gave you life everlasting, starting right now.